Last night at our regularly scheduled governing board meeting, our governing board began the process of working through some really difficult tasks. As many of you are aware, we have a budget deficit moving towards 2016-2017 next school year. And that budget deficit is largely the result of decline in enrollment. We declined as a district almost by 11%. And we've talked previously about that decline and where those numbers come from and some of the rationale and reason that were given to us as to why individuals left. But regardless of the reason why, we still have to manage that deficit. And so as we look at how we begin crafting solutions towards finding $3.6 million less in our budget for next year, the first place we begin looking at is staffing. And that isn't because we're not supportive of staffing, it's because largely we're built around in our staffing ratios student enrollment. And so if we decline in student enrollment, then logically we would believe that we would decline in staffing as well. When we talk about a 10, almost 11% decline in student enrollment, one could make the case that we should decline that same percentage in staffing, which would be in the neighborhood of 60 positions. I disagree with that. I think 60 positions is far too many for lots of different reasons. I think that as we go down this journey of balancing our budget, we still have to keep in mind the idea and the expectation that we provide our students a quality opportunity to learn. And the minute we start looking at the numbers like 60, we lessen the likelihood of that. So as a district, we're targeting a staffing reduction of 35 positions. And that's across the board. That isn't just on campuses, it's in departments, it's at the district office, it's across the board. And the hope in capturing that reduction of 35 positions is that we will utilize attrition. And by that I mean, as we begin to issue contracts, individuals who receive contracts may in their own mind and for their own reasons decide that they need to pursue a different opportunity, whether that means they're moving out of state or they're leaving their profession or whatever it means, and aren't going to return their contract, aren't going to come back. That begins that attrition process. Inevitably, some of the questions that get asked are, well, what positions and who and how? Your building principals or your directors either have or will have targeted staffing ratios. One of the things I'm pleased with the governing board is they didn't change our targeted staffing ratios. But at this point in time, we're not specifically targeting any one individual. And that's again where attrition comes into play. So for example, if we're at an elementary campus and we're forecasting an enrollment to be such that we could decline 2 teaching positions at an elementary campus, we don't know which 2 positions are going to decline. If we wind up having 2 individuals on a campus that don't come back, well, that's the reduction. That may mean that we have to shift some responsibilities next year. So if I was teaching 3rd grade this year, it may mean that I will teach 4th grade next year, but I'm still going to be on that campus because the targeted reduction was taken care of through attrition. One of the things that I encourage folks is to be timely in some of your decision making for next year. Selfishly, I hope none of us leave because I believe that we have an opportunity here to do things that some may not expect us to do as it relates to improving student achievement. But at the same time, I understand that life does happen, and if you're in a position where your life is going to push you in a different direction, then please tell us that sooner rather than later so we can begin to try to capture what our attrition reduction number is. Our goal is to have contracts out by the end of March, at some point in time at the end of March, and then to have those contracts back to us by the middle part of April. And if we hit that goal, then we'll have from the end of April through the end of the school year to kind of really sit down and take a look at how did attrition work? Did we capture the needed reductions? And if so, how do we arrange staffing in such a way that we still have appropriate numbers on each of our campuses and our departments? And if we didn't capture enough reductions through attrition, what is our next step? At the end of the day, none of us are eager to go through the process that we're going to go through over the next 6 weeks, but it's the reality of what we're facing. Also, at our governing board, we took the opportunity to review our Auditor General report in relationship to how we spend our money organizationally. I sent that to you, I believe, last week in an email, and we'll also get it posted on our website, and I think Mr. Young will also run it on our TV channel. But it's really important to me that you take a look at that, because I think sometimes the narrative is that we don't manage our money as well as we should, so therefore that's why we're in some of the financial issues that we're in. And when you compare how we manage our money to our peer districts, we actually manage our money really, really, really well. And that's a credit to you and the work that you do, but I also want you to see it so that you can have conversations with individuals, if so inclined, that kind of explain that, because I think that's an important piece to the story that we have to make sure we understand, but also those outside our organization understand. I look forward to the next 4, 5, 6 weeks, even though it's going to be a difficult time, because at the same time, I believe very strongly that all of us in this organization daily make decisions that are in the best interest of our students. And as a result, even though we're going to go through some difficult challenges, we'll come out on the other end much better prepared to do the work that we do next year better than we've done this year. And that's exciting to be a part of. If you have questions or concerns, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. I'd be happy to answer all I can. Thank you.